Good morning and welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 22nd of January. So, looking at the news first that is due out today, we have the French and German services, manufacturing services data coming out first thing this morning, starting off with the French data at 8:15, German at 8:30. We then get at 9 o'clock, we get the European figure as a whole. This tends to have a lot less effect than the previous two. Then 9:30 we've got the UK flash and services manufacturing data, and then at 1:30, normally at 1:30 we have the US, but it's not there. So we haven't got that then, or it doesn't appear to be there. Okay, so we'll see how we get on. So we have, it's 2:45 actually, beg your pardon. Looking beyond it, we've got the manufacturing data at 2:45 for the US, so a little bit later for the US. Right, so I would be wary of those. We can see some moves in the market when they're coming out, some extra volatility. Very important, particularly, well, I'm saying that if they're poor figures, they're most likely to be overlooked. If they were good figures, they may be reacted on more so. Reason being, on the poor side of things, there's a lot of lockdowns everywhere, and that's more likely to be priced in as opposed to a positive surprise which could see a reaction. So on that note, let's have a look at the euro to start with, and in fact before I do that, I just want a quick look at the dollar index and see where we are relative to key moving averages, etc. Well, it's broken everything on the dollar index on the dailies here, so I will just come through the 4-hourly in terms of looking at anything else that we might see here. It's very slow in terms of giving me any moving averages. There we are. Daily to 4-hourly 100 there, maybe just providing a bit of support. But okay, let's get back to looking at dailies, and let's have a look at the euro first then. So yesterday the bounce continued there yesterday, and what we've ended up with is this ABC sort of pattern. Is it going to roll from here? Well, we'll see. Get it? Okay, you know. Right, so we'll see what happens from that, but it does look like well, it's rolling over at this stage. It's got potential support of its daily pivot, which is just below there and comes in line with the monthly pivot. The prior highs around that sort of area, maybe 121.50. We will find the support and it will turn around there, so I'll be watching for that. Any signs of a turnaround, I will be looking for a bounce back into these highs and maybe even further. Had a good move yesterday at times. It just got killed off by the ECB speech later on there. It just couldn't maintain anything, but saying that, it's done it in the evening. It's pushed on further, so at the moment still looking like it's got some potential. As I say, it just needs that slightly bigger retrace for me to be joining the party. So that's the euro. The pound, well, yesterday yet another new high. It does this, and then it held up actually, and to be fair, it's held up at those new highs, but then sold off this morning. Some data coming through, maybe not really wanting to be seen. Apparently the UK is considering closing all its borders at last. One may scream, but anyway. That's where we are at the moment. So it's looking much softer on the pound at this stage, but remember we've got data at 9:30. Anything more positive on that could see a rally, but for now really it does look soft, and any retracements may even be sold into in this sort of lower highs coming through. It's a bit of a soft patch. This 4-hourly 21 may just hold it, if not the 34.50, we'll see, but maybe a bit overactive on the price action so far. Dollar yen, okay, continues to meander, work its way down its trend line. It too sort of making near-term lows, very near-term lows here as it's pitching through, but it's bounced through there, bit of a bounce kicking through it back into its key moving averages. If it breaks those, well, then the dollar becomes much more bullish, but at the moment it's bang into resistance as I'm looking at this. It has put a higher low in there, so there's possibly a bit of a signal that we could catch a bit more of a bounce. Certainly trying its best to push back up there, the dollar yen there. Aussie dollar. Aussie sitting at one of the stronger pairings most of the time. It's just looking like it's got this resistance across the top there. The trend line across, which I lost on here, I had drawn previously, maybe come short of it yesterday, but it just seems to be working its way down in a lower highs, lower lows sort of situation in the bigger picture there. And well, it's selling off again at the moment, and lower highs coming through confirmed. In fact, it just as I say, it just looks a tad on the soft side there. Maybe it will grind out a bottom here. It's already done the daily pivot S1. It's not too far off away from its S2. It may just grind out and may again give an opportunity later, break of a trend. If it starts bouncing back up there, it has been outperforming, but not looking great at the moment. The Canadian dollar, it's, well, you gained yesterday a new near-term low. It's quite for some time. In fact, it's going to the weeklies and just look back. It's quite some time since it's been quite so low there. It's a bit like the pound there. It was way back in 2018 when it was the Canadian dollar was so strong against the US dollar. Okay. But US dollar catching the bid side of this Canadian dollar at the moment, and well, it's got potential resistance on the 4-hourly picture into that 50.34 if it continues. It has put higher lows through on the 60. You can see it on the 60-minute time frame. It's, well, to me, just with the smaller bars coming through, it looks like it's running a little bit out of steam, but maybe just needs to run into some resistance before it'll roll over. Okay, that's the Canadian. Looking elsewhere then, S&Ps, if I can get the proper S&Ps there we go, S&P futures here. So S&Ps yesterday, was very inside-ish day, but pushed into its monthly R2 there, just having a bit of a reaction from that sort of area. Maybe we'll see a bit more of a correction, but it's still got a lot of months to go at the moment. But looking down the time frame, 60-minute low highs, lower lows running through this at this stage. So at some point when the cash market opens later, maybe we'll get a bit of a bounce here. We seem to be getting some decent moves. It may have a bigger correction, being a Friday, risk leaving over the weekend, but if it starts bouncing later, it would give opportunities. Maybe a straightforward trendline break would give opportunities there to enter for the long side. Gold. Gold yesterday, well, consolidated really. It dropped off its peak there and closed a little bit lower than it opened, but it's just consolidating around this area here at this stage. Looking at the shorter time frame though, it's showing the signs of weakness again with a lower high kicking through there. Maybe it's got a bit of short-term divergence here. Maybe this divergence will play off and give it a bit more of a bounce, but it really is slow of late. And finally, on this listing here, oil. Oil seems a little bit more consolidated now on the dailies. Actually, yesterday barely moving. I'm surprised at the small movement there. It may be wrong, but lower high coming through on this 4-hourly, and it may be just finding a bit more of a correction through now. Not only with a stronger dollar, but as I keep on saying, I think this market may have been somewhat overbought relative to the risk of more production coming in and cutting these prices. So, well, that's, as I say, putting the lower highs, lower lows in, looking quite soft on oil at this stage. As I do it more frequently these days, let's a quick look at Bitcoin. I'll look at this on the bigger time frame only, and well, there has been a further correction here yesterday, and it sold off again this morning, so we're probably getting a bit of a panic coming through again. It's put again the lower high in on this daily picture, and as good as it was looking at one stage for more of a bounce, it'll be interesting at what happens over this weekend. Generally, we're more likely to see, it seems, to see selling over the weekend, and we could just see this correct a bit further yet. As I said, it's just maybe giving people the opportunity to consider entering. Maybe not yet now, the pattern it's doing there, 34.50, I mean, it's got the monthly pivot below here still to be tested. It's still got that big gap there, and for some people, okay, this is the futures, the gap, it's not there on the cash, but it's sitting there. It may be a target. So right, okay, that's pretty much it for me at the moment. It's, as I say, I still see this as a more of a longer term opportunity if you're looking at the likes of Bitcoin, but maybe got a bit more correction yet. Right, I wish you a Aussie New Zealand dollar question there. Let's just have a look there. It has had a bit of a correction. I saw, yep. I don't know if those two doji bars are correct. Sorry, I haven't refreshed. Maybe they are. Actually, looking at what's here, but it certainly has broken its trend line there on the Aussie New Zealand now, and put the lower high, and it looks like the New Zealand dollar's just pipping the Aussie. In fact, I will just look at the New Zealand dollar on its own for a second. No, it's not looking particularly any stronger than the Aussie against the US dollar, but certainly the Aussie is a little bit softer there against the New Zealand dollar. Whether this is the sort of bigger move over, it's questionable. It's on the shorter times it's certainly got the cracks. On the longer terms, longer time here, it's still got this sort of upper trend here. It may just be breaking a trend line across these lows through there, but maybe its support would come from that 21 or 200 that's sitting there below if you're looking for it on the more long term. Okay, that's it for me. I wish you a great day, and I will speak to you on Monday. Bye for now. That's that done.